here we are. We are live, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Ageless by Design. I'm Rebecca Chernek, and I'm going to be your host this afternoon. And we do have an exciting show in store for you guys this afternoon. We are talking about longevity advantage. Okay, so of course it's Sunday, and it's with Coffey, and we certainly have Mary Coffey. She's in the house. She is the founder of Boutique Wellness. And we also have Dr. Joseph Cleaver, and he is also the founder of Paradigm and medical.
Problems?
I'm sorry. You can't hear me? Can you not hear me? I think Dr. Joe cannot hear me, but he is the founder of Paradigm and also medical wellness spa in Dallas, Texas. So it's going to be an intriguing conversation, to say the least. And so those that are tuning in, we're tuning in live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also Facebook. And if you like what we're talking about, I hope that you do. Please hit that like button and share. And while you're at it, subscribe. Now, here's the interesting thing. I got a few phone calls last week. Becky, what are you doing with this Ageless by Design? You've been in the automotive industry for well over 30 years. And frankly, I have. And I have seen and worked with some of the most amazing folks in the automotive industry for a long time. And I got to tell you, here's the thing, these top tier professionals, this is one thing that they really count on, and they count on their energy, determination, drive to make a difference. This is their powerhouse, right? To make a difference, and also to be at their top game. So I don't care whether or not we are in the automotive industry, if we're in RV,
I don't even see you anymore.
Power sports, and
it always works
also,
this way. I'm gonna hop on the email, and I'm gonna sign in again.
Okay.
He's having difficulty hearing us. He's going to come back in. Yeah.
So what we could do, let's see what we've got so far in some of the comments. Jamie's in the house. Happy Sunday, girl. I'm glad you're here. As you know, it's all about technology. And there we have. We've got Dr. Joseph Cleaver is back in the house. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's get this started. Now, for our viewers, if you wouldn't mind, please share a brief background to get us started. And again, keeping in mind, we're talking about longevity, and that is the advantage point. Go ahead, if you wouldn't mind. Mary, just a brief background first to get us started, if you don't mind.
Sure. Thank you so much for hosting this. My name is Mary Coffey, founder of Boutique Wellness, located in Winston-Salem. I'm a clinical pharmacist and a clinical nutritionist. Our goal is to get to the root cause of why people feel the way they do. But I also focus on regenerative aesthetics. Love aesthetics, fell in love with that about 2019. Today we have Dr. Joe Cleaver, who is our medical director. He's helped me implement the aesthetic portion of and peptide portions. So we are also very advanced in our peptides. We're actually working on a couple books. Dr. Joe has authored, and he'll talk about that, 3 books on clotho and longevity medicine and peptides. We're working on peptides and mitochondria. We're going to talk a little bit about the new, GHK copper and NAD plus, and everyone now is asking about it, and the differences in delivery systems. So essentially what I focus on is the pharmacology, or the ADME, absorption, the metabolism, the excretion of these certain peptides or small molecules, and how they affect the body. So I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but essentially that's my specialty. It's more about the pharmacology behind all of that. And then Wonderful. Today we have Dr. Joe Cleaver, if you want to have him introduce himself as well.
Sure thing. Go ahead, Dr. Joseph Cleaver. Please introduce yourself. Go ahead and give us a good background. What's going on with you?
Sure. I'll give you just a few minute history on how I ended up where I am in my practice today, and in this part of medicine, this most exciting part of medicine that is really blazing trails, and we're at the tip of the spear of how medicine is improving quality of life in this planet. We certainly focus on well care and not sick care. We focus on lifespan and health span. And my background fits that very nicely because even when I started medical school, I was educated in Europe at the University of Rome. That is a very profoundly different approach to understanding medicine. And you, from the start, you understand the body's functions at a very uh, uh, technical cellular level, but you move all the way up to the patient's lifestyle and how they make decisions on a daily basis and the impact it has on disease process, developing disease, preventing disease. That's real, and that's really not focused on in most traditional medical schools. So even though it's traditional medical school around for 1,000 years, I think they got it right because they bring in all the more important and very powerful influences that you can have in your that influence your life over a lifetime. So from there, I did my residency fellowship. I'm an internist, I'm an immunologist and rheumatologist, and I started my career at UT Southwestern in Dallas, Texas. Spent about 12 years at Cooper Clinic, really formed that understanding of lifestyle and prevention, which it was the premier clinic way back in the 70s. I was there about 2008, and that really, had a big influence how I designed my longevity program. So I've been really at the, again, the tip of the spear, the fore of longevity medicine for decades, and not just more recently where the momentum is becoming such a breakneck pace. Everybody wants to be a longevity practitioner. Everybody wants to sell you a peptide. Everybody wants to tell you that they're the expert in how you live a long time and how to exercise and how to grow muscle. And it's really it's sometimes it could end up being a problem because we're going to get into maybe some questions later on how the people who pursue as biohackers, longevity, et cetera, what mistakes they make. So I think that's going to be a good segue into that part of this talk. Really, a lot of docs, a lot of practitioners can get into this space because something went wrong with their health. And they couldn't figure it out, and conventional medicine failed them. And I wrote a book on a very important protein called clotho. And at the end of the book, I got a little personal. I said, I've never been sick in my life. I'm just cut from, this is me.
Oh,
This
did he
is,
freeze?
oh, no, really?
I think you're doing pretty good. You're doing all right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm kind of pulling in some different thoughts as I tell you about myself, but most importantly, I've been really focused on this. This is my passion, my dedication, and my professional career for 30 years. I've written, I'm working on my fourth book. Some of them are bestsellers, and it's just a passion and a pursuit that gets more and more exciting every day. So, and there's more and more patients and clients and biohackers that are just building every single day in terms of our popularity and our seeking us out as their practitioners.
So here's what I want to do. I hope that you hear me. I wanted to go ahead and share briefly with you Dr. Joseph Cleaver. He shared a terrific video a while back, but it really helps us to have a really good understanding to his background. So let me go ahead and see what I.
I'm Dr. Joe Cleaver. I'm a board certified internist. I'm also board certified and I'm a fellow of the American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine. And I'm also a rheumatologist. I was educated in the Mediterranean, the University of Rome School of Medicine. And I'm very fortunate to have that education because I have developed an integrative medicine practice And that's really where the seeds of integrative medicine started, at least in my career. I did my residency under the Robert Wood Johnson School of Medicine umbrella in New Jersey, and then finished my fellowship at the Jackson Memorial Hospital at the University of Miami. I was also fortunate when I moved to Dallas to start as an assistant clinical professor at UT Southwestern in the rheumatology division. Ended up, actually, on a personal note, I was training in martial arts at the time and was a patient at Cooper Clinic. And after my full day of evaluation at Cooper Clinic, the physician there said, "You should be working here." And they hired me on, and I came on staff at Cooper Clinic about 14 years ago. It was a perfect match because I was able to utilize all the knowledge and experience that I brought home from a European medical training in school and mesh that with Cooper Clinic, which is one of the premier preventive clinics in the country. When I left Cooper Institute, I opened up my practice in Dallas, and that was about 6 years ago, and opened up 3 offices in a practice in the Bay Area in San Francisco, California. So I have an office in Napa Valley, one in San Francisco, and one in Santa Rosa. What I practice is and preach is fundamental lifestyle preventive medicine. That falls really under regenerative medicine. And regenerative medicine is it's a discipline that harnesses the body's ability to heal itself, heal the cells of injury, and heal aging cells. And if we look at what regenerative medicine is focusing on right now, we start hearing a lot about stem cells. Stem cells are, there's a heated debate whether, how well they work. There's a lot of research going on. Not quite sure that's ready. Stem cells are ready for prime time, but the fact of the matter is lifestyle medicine, when you look at why we're healthier and don't get disease, or we prevent disease and we slow the aging process, because the decisions we make on a daily basis, what we put in our mouth, if we eat a high inflammatory food, a lot of processed food, we create a lot of oxidative stress. I don't even have to describe or define what oxidative stress is anymore. It's wonderful. But we know now that oxidative stress blocks or blunts our ability of stem cells to.
Wow.
So that gives you a bit of a taste who we're working with and who we're talking to today. And again, you have, like I said, you have a very impressive story to share. So I do have a few questions on the longevity piece because, especially where this is streaming, I am streaming to, as I was sharing earlier, to automotive folks and not only just automotive dealers and executives in the automotive space, but in the RV and the marine space and real estate, you name it. And these guys, gals, they have got to be at their best, right? They have to have their drive, determination, endurance to survive and win those sales. And as I was saying earlier, my dad was always about winning, but he always said, you not only have to look the part, you got to play the part, you got to know how to do it. And so this is why I'm so passionate about, because I don't believe that there should be an age number that all of a sudden you wake up and you got to throw in the towel and you say, okay, life's over. I can tell you, I have met some interesting folks. They could be 45 years old. Now, 45 to me is really young. But you know what? They are throwing in the towel and they're going, I'm too old. I'm like, what? How can you even tell me that you're too old at 40? What are you talking about? So this is what we need to know. These are things that we need to learn how to make a difference in our lives, and really benefit from these treatment services, strategies to make a difference. So you're right. I do have some questions for you, and I want to go right to, you had mentioned about biomarkers. What biomarkers should high-performing individuals that this is speaking to, and those that are just trying to climb to the top too, what should they be tracking right now if they want to extend both their lifespan and performance span?
Are you asking? You want me to field
Oh,
that?
yes, Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe, if you don't mind.
Well,
No, we have we have the two of you, but
there
and
are,
Mary, feel free to step in.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, because Mary knows all this stuff too. She knows these answers. She's an expert for sure in this space. But I think some of the most um, current developments are the most important. We'll start there because biohackers and people who want to, pursue longevity and live a healthy, long life and that's very functional and enjoyable to their last day. We alluded to it before. We're looking, we get really deep down into the cell, how it works. So there are tests coming out every day now that look at something called mitochondrial function. Now, I may be starting out with the geekiest, kind of most sophisticated stuff, but if you're a biohacker, you're going to go, yeah, mitochondria are really important. The little power packs in all our cells, but that make them function. They make ATP, and we can't live without ATP. And the stem cells in each organ in our body are tasked with homeostasis, maintaining homeostasis in your brain, your lungs, your heart, wherever your kidneys. That homeostasis is a structure and function of that organ, and that structure and function is directly dependent on the stem cells, and the stem cells are directly dependent on the mitochondria inside that stem cell. So more and more patients are going like, hey, how do I check my mitochondria? And Mary and I were just talking the other day, there's like 2 or 3 labs that just started coming out with mitochondrial function. So what can you follow? Mitochondrial function. I think that's top on the list. Then, then we get down into, you sit in my office or you talk to Mary, you're going to hear some things that you never heard of before. Like, what is the importance of NAD? Now, NAD is a really hot topic, but the NAD you're getting IV is really doing nothing for you for longevity. It's the cell, inside the cell, NAD levels that are protecting your DNA from damage. And when you damage DNA, you accelerate aging. So we have a couple of tests that look at intracellular DNA, right? We have, intracellular NAD and DNA damage. The other markers that we look at that have been around for a long time, something called telomere length. Telomeres are another marker, a different way to look at your current age, your biological age, how much damage you've done to the point you sit down in the chair in front of me and tell me you want to be in my longevity program. We're going to mention something called telomeres. They are the little end caps at the end of your DNA, and every time we make a new cell, they get damaged a little bit and they shorten. At some point in time, they get so short, you can't make a new cell, and that's your lifespan. That's really the confines of your lifespan. You cannot live another day because you can't make any new cells anymore. So that those are the most exciting things. I mean, then we could dig down into what I'm really passionate about, something called clotho, which is a protein that nobody's ever heard of, but it was discovered in 1997 by a Japanese researcher in a mouse model. But it turns out this is one of the most profoundly powerful compound substances in the human body that it makes that sustains longevity. The longest lived people in longevity studies have been going on for decades, have the highest clotho levels. So it behooves you to get a clotho level, get a clotho test, and that's what we do in our patients. We know how to increase that clotho level. It's so important that I even developed actually some products or supplements that have been shown in my pilot studies to double your clotho level over about a 12-month period. So
Wow.
Those are some of the real exciting things that, if you sit down and I know when I have somebody's ear, a real biohacker, because they keep lighting up every time I mention the things that we really, a very sophisticated longevity program does impart and does assess to optimize your health span and lifespan. I mean, then we get to the fundamental, most important part of it is lifestyle and how you approach those first. And without good restorative sleep, enough of balanced exercise, how to manage stress, and then eat a low inflammatory Mediterranean diet. Without putting those cornerstones in place first, you're really going to be spending money throwing it down the drain to a certain extent, because we're not going to make the progress we want until we turn around and change our lifestyle that optimizes all these therapies.
Yeah, I think some of these guys want to go ahead and get the magic pill, right? Get the magic pill, take it, and And here we go. And I think this is when they get major disappointed. Like we were talking about earlier, some of these hacks, or, they go TikTok and they get a cream. And I want to talk a little bit about this, if you don't mind. It's called NAD. And I know it's a big deal right now. It's all on TikTok. And I think even my daughter decided, hey, I think I need some of this NAD cream. And meanwhile, is it really doing what it says that it can do? Mary, can you talk to us about this NADA stuff?
Sure. NAD. So really what it comes down to is the Krebs cycle. And when he talks about the mitochondria, it's just basic biochemistry. NAD is part of the Krebs cycle that makes NADH, and then it removes certain compounds or carbon atoms, and it repeats itself trillions of times throughout, and like Dr. Joe said, sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. When it comes to NAD, however, it is not bioavailable when you're taking it orally. Okay, so it's usually given in a sub-Q form or intravenously, or you take a precursor that helps you use your NAD. So as we age, our ability to make NAD is depleted, right? That's part of a measurement that we can measure. There are some people that in the biohacking industry that measure their NAD levels. So it's important to, I think, in my opinion, to do both, do a precursor, something that helps your body make it endogenously or naturally, such as NR or NMN, right? So there are certain products that can make NAD versus taking NAD by itself orally. As I mentioned, it is not, it's easily degraded in the gut and it's not stable. So you're wasting your money if you're going to just go ahead to go in the store, Amazon, and buy NAD. You want to buy a precursor, or you can do an NAD sub-Q injections. In fact, we have a very nice protocol where you take NAD, plus it's a little bit, it's fermented, it's longer acting. You can take it every 3 days or so. It does have a longer half-life when you use it in conjunction to a precursor, meaning something that helps keep your NAD in cycle, in the Krebs cycle. Does that make sense? So I can get a little geeky, but the most important thing is knowing which formulation to take. Oh, there's Boutique Wellness.
Yeah. So I thought while we were talking, or while you were talking about what you're doing in your practice, I just thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of share this video with everyone to see the property. I mean, just a stunning location, frankly. And so Mary was kind enough to share some of the video clip with me, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful property, treatment center.
Yeah. So at Boutique Wellness, a lot of people come in for aesthetics. We do a lot of toxin injections, particularly Dysport. We do a lot of regenerative aesthetics, biofillers. We do use fillers, but we use it very sparingly. We prefer to use more, not biofillers, but we use hyaluronic acid fillers like Galderma or Juvederm, but we use it sparingly. We prefer to have a natural collagen stimulating response, such as using PRP gel or Easy Gel. So those are PRF gels, and we can talk a little bit about that. So, what our approach is really trying to get to the root cause of why is our skin aging? Why are we getting brown spots? Why are we getting angiomas? What are some things, like, for instance, that we can give a patient if I'm starting to see blood vessels on their face, or if they've had their whole life? I'm looking at capillaries. I'm looking at how do we strengthen that. So again, we try to get to the root cause of why their skin is aging. Because if their skin's aging, obviously it's happening internally as well. There are some things that we can do that are very safe that help stimulate receptors in addition to peptides. But as Dr. Joe had mentioned, lifestyle is really key. It's getting to the fundamentals of the cell, essentially the cell membrane, right? There's certain supplements you can take. A lot of people come in on multiple medications. So we do a lot of medication therapeutic management. We do a lot of drug-induced nutrient deficiencies. And those are key components to a successful program. And then we can get a little bit more elegant and do some markers on, like Dr. Joe had mentioned, mitochondrial health, which I think is going to be the future of everything, because essentially everything we consume affects the Krebs cycle. It's basic biochemistry. And I can actually prove that in my next lecture. It's going to be talking, and I can talk about the Krebs cycle and how optimizing that, and that's a part of NAD, when you talk about NAD, but so do peptides affect the Krebs cycle. There's certain things in hypothalamus, pituitary, there's so many hormones that affect the Krebs cycle, where essentially you want to decrease oxidative stress, because if you have oxidative stress, it also decreases the ability of that Krebs cycle to multiply. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Dr. Joe.
No, that was well said. I think one of the things I can add is you were hit it spot on. The most important NAD is in the cell, as I alluded to, and the supplements and that you have you noted increase that NAD level in the cell, and that protects your DNA from damage. That NAD, 80% of your NAD in your cell, what you described, is recycled right there. So taking it in orally and sub-Q and injecting it really doesn't do a whole hell of a lot of good. Most of your NAD comes from recycling through that pathway with NMN, and our works also. And in addition, the additional comment is, what is that NAD important for? What is it doing? What its task is to protect your DNA from damage. That's its most important job. And when the mitochondria aren't functioning well, then we start getting DNA damage. But where does this all start? It starts actually in the membrane of the cell. The cell wall has a lot of receptors on it, and those receptors, as soon as they're hit back from something from the outside that activate them, have an impact on mitochondrial function, health, biogenesis, how healthy that mitochondria is. The healthier it is, the lower the oxidative stress. And there's 4 things in the cell. Now we're getting geeky because we love doing this stuff. There's four most important balancers that influence mitochondrial health and function. The first one is AMPK. It has to do with energy production. Insulin signaling is extremely important influence on mitochondrial function. Something called mTOR, which so one of the therapies that suppresses mTOR with rapamycin. You're getting off, if you're a geek and you're a biohacker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the lower your mTOR level, the longer it translates into longer life in not human studies, but mammal studies for sure, all the way back to fruit flies and et cetera. And people go, fruit flies, what the hell does that have to do with humans? Well, our DNA is very well conserved throughout many species, meaning our DNA looks very similar to fruit flies and worms. There's just a few things that are off, believe it or not, in many cases. So we can study these models, these animal models and insect models, and extrapolate what possibly could be happening in the human body. The last part of that cell wall function are your sirtuin genes. So SIRT1 is extremely important. This is an anti-aging gene that resides in your cell, but the receptors on the cell wall and the cell membrane, that has an influence also on mitochondrial function. So it starts with cell wall, makes the mitochondria healthy, makes your NAD, it makes that stem cell healthy, that upregulates and maintains structure and function of an organ in the body.
That's amazing, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, I'm thinking some of these folks in the industry, they get it. They understand. There's a lot of folks that are still trying to figure it all out. And that's the reason why we're doing this, right? It's because we want to educate folks to doing the right thing, not spontaneous, let me grab a pill and let's see if it's going to work or not. But really, if you apply these practices and treatments, it can make a big difference. And that's what this is really all about. Again, I am not in the health and wellness industry just yet. I've always been in the sales industry. And that is where, like you're talking about, where the energy, you have to be on top of your game. Yes. It's just to perform well, to act well, to be in, to go all in, frankly, to get that sale. And so that's what I'm hoping to do here with these podcasts with Mary, and bringing athletes like yourself that really understand this industry and can share really good information. And also, one thing I do want to talk about too, and I have a couple more questions for you guys, but I do want to share something with you. We are having, or Mary is having an event. I'm helping to support that event. And she will have that event. I believe it's April the 23rd. It's a Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. April 23rd, Thursday from 4 to 6.
And one of the things that I want to share with you is, hopefully I can, here it is. I want to go ahead and share the boutique wellness with you. This is the location, the property that's located in Winston-Salem. And I want to talk about, this is where I shared those video files with you. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful center. And so the boutique wellness is it's top floor. And then of course, you have the restaurant. Do you want to talk a little bit about that restaurant where you'll be actually holding the event, if you don't mind?
Sure. So organically, we acquired the restaurant. If you want to make a, if you want to, it's definitely a life challenge, and I've learned a lot through running a restaurant. It's actually started as a wine bar. We also have mixed beverages. We have tapas. We're going to be open also on Sundays, where we're going to be offering brunch. We try to support local. On Sundays now, we're going to have farmers market, which we're going to have about 20 vendors there. We're going to start the weekend after the April 12th. They'll just be open for brunch on Sundays from 10 to 2. We're outside. We own the whole parking lot. We have about 55 spots next to the building, and that's rare in downtown Winston-Salem, where we're going to have about 20 vendors, all local, fresh fruits and meats and vegetables. It's going to be really nice. We're going to always have music, and then we'll have a buffet-style breakfast. So the restaurant is really part of boutique wellness. Oftentimes, my patients, after a procedure, they'll go down and have a glass of wine. We have also nice coffees, nice special juices. Really don't want to have wine after a laser procedure.
That's me. Stop. And by the way, I got to say the wine's great.
I say avoid alcohol, but
I know, I'm just kidding.
But it's a family, everyone that comes in, we want you to feel welcome. It's a healing center. In fact, we are putting together a wellness retreat for women that have been abused financially, verbally, sexually, and it'll be May 21st. It's a transformative weekend as well. So I'll be talking about that. We're going to be try to do that quarterly as well. So when you walk into the house, hopefully you feel the energy. I would say 100% of the people usually do, and they feel just peace, and that's where we strive on. It's a place where you heal. It's a place where you transform, not just aesthetically. Of course, people come in for aesthetics, but little do they know they are leaving with so much more than that, and they become, like I said, family. We really focus on the mind, the body, and the spirit.
So in this video is what? Not the men's bathroom, but as it opens up. But it's very clean. But
it's historical. Historical fixtures.
Historical. Got to do it. Look how clean the kitchen is. It's great. That kitchen's something else, I'd like to tell you. I mean, you can eat off the floor. You can.
Well, everyone always said convert the kitchen into a pharmacy. I've been tempted to, make a sterile compounding pharmacy, but I just like fellowship. I said, let me keep it. Let's make it into something great. I love hospitality. Dr. Joe also owns a winery called Locanda Wines. It's how I fell in love with wine. And that's when I started to introduce wine. This is actually an old house built in 1907. By Carol Rosenbacher, and this is where they actually ate. They have a little butler's bell on the bottom, and everything is all preserved. The floors are all original. The moldings, those are pocket doors, and that's what you feel like when you come in. You're in an old mansion feel, and beautiful music, and just an open ambience, and the house just speaks to you. So the goal is really to have good quality food. We do tapas right now at night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we do really nice wines that you can't find anywhere else. It's not bulk wine. These are boutique wines where you only make about 100 cases a year. they're collectibles. But then we have some things that are, for everybody. Life's too short for bad wine, right? So that's the hard part, in the lifestyle. It's okay in moderation, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
So I hope that gets the point across and makes people want to come there.
Well, I think it's just a terrific, and as I mentioned, I think this is right. Where am I at here?
Thank you for showing that.
We're back. Oh no, I'm excited about showing that and giving an idea of what we're talking about here and why it's such a treat to come to this event. So it is complimentary by invitation only. And I'm super excited about it. So you'll be on the podium and you'll be talking and discussing what topics, will you be discussing? And so the folks that come in will maybe have a glass or two of that delicious wine and maybe some hors d'oeuvres. And then later on, they could certainly maybe go for a taco or something else. But what's the topic going to be? What will you be talking about?
Yeah, so we do a lot of procedures there. Oftentimes, I would say the most popular is either hair restoration, how and who. It's about scalp rejuvenation. We do lasers such as Nuvaderm and how to prepare the skin or the scalp for that. We can talk a little bit about longevity and balancing hormones and why that plays a role in the regenerative aesthetic arena and why you want to balance hormones, reduce inflammation, really maintain homeostasis physiologically for a better response. So it'll just be a 30-minute, just a kind of wine and some hors d'oeuvres and just greeting. And then you'll meet our staff, tour the whole facility and just get a feel of what we have to offer. And we're going to be hosting these monthly just to get to know us and to see the devices that we have. We are doing a live demo also April 7th. For those that would like to go, it's a Nuvaderm event where it's a live demo. We have raffles, and we'll also have some raffles on the 23rd as well. Maybe Joe can join us one of those days. We'll see. He does come up every few weeks and does procedures there as well. In fact, we did a few PRP gels. That's our biggest, that's our most popular procedure currently. It's so there's differences with PRF, which is platelet-rich fibrin gel. Currently, we're using a PRP, platelet-rich plasma. In our next discussion, we can talk about the differences of the two and now why we prefer the PRP gel over the PRF gel, or when we would use a PRF gel, because there are certain stem cells that are activated in PRF. You preserve more platelets when you do PRF, right, Dr. Joe? Than you do
correct.
PRP. He's been using this for 30 plus years. I've learned a lot from him. I'm very blessed because he's taught me so much and he's inspired me in many ways. So and now I'm like, okay, the more you know, the less you realize you know, right? There's so much to learn. But it's it's a little, you just keep going and hopefully people get it. Eventually you just keep repeating. I say the same things to every patient and it's received differently each time. But you keep trekking along. The goal is to heal the nation, right? We got to make this planet a healthier place, right? For everybody. And it could start, like Joe said, is lifestyle.
No, I think, you're definitely on the right track, and I hope to help to educate and invite folks. I want, here's the thing, I'm not getting any younger, but I don't feel like I'm getting older, and I want to make the best of it. I really do. I don't want anyone to put a number on me when it's time for me to check out, to throw in the towel. I don't believe in that. I'm just not going to buy into it. I am going to buy into education, that there are better ways to do this and do it right and make a big difference for myself. But I'm not about throwing in the towel because of a number or an age number or someone else saying, oh, well, you're at a certain age, so therefore it's time you went on to what, I guess, I don't know, a nursing or somewhere else, where that is all changing, isn't it? I mean, age is a different for everyone, and it's a mindset thing.
100%. There is no retirement. Honestly, for me, retirement is not having to work. It's still, I'll always work, probably till I'm 100, if I make it that to 100. Because it's when you retire that I feel like you age. It's when you lack that passion and that purpose is when you age, so, and then when you say it's all in the mind, a lot of it is. And that's why I don't like diagnoses at the same time. It's like, oh, you have this is how long you have to live. And then it gets in your mind, right?
That's
So
great.
it's really important like that, have that positive outlook and to understand that, hey, you know what? I could reverse this. And now we can scientifically prove it, right? So it's about slowing, stopping, and then reversing. And there are some treatments that we can do. And Dr. Joe we'll talk about that in our next talk
I
or in the next
wish you
discussion, how we can actually reverse the aging process, reverse it, right?
I would love for Dr. Joe to think about coming in on April the 23rd and also speaking. I know you're a busy person, but I would really, I don't know. Hopefully you can make it happen somehow, some way. But I am very much looking forward to the opportunity to do this. And um, just to finish up, and it can be both, Dr. Joe and Mary. How does functional medicine differ from traditional medicine, and when it comes to, and you were bringing up reversing the aging process? How does that work?
Yeah.
Well,
That's a loaded one.
it's really everything that when you were going through medical school, not my medical school, that you would learn and forget a week later on a multiple choice test. And I'm presenting it that way because a majority of practitioners are told, you know, do the biochemistry and the physiology and don't worry about it. Just forget it because you're going to be all clinical when you get done. Well, we do just the opposite. We determine what's wrong at the cell level and we determine what's out of balance, what's missing, what micronutrients, like Mary alluded to, and we fix the problem. We do the detective work to go determine what is causing the signs and symptoms that that patient is manifesting, or the links to how to slow, stop, or reverse the aging process, optimizing everyday quality of life in the process. And that's the big difference. There's a lot more detective work, I think, at the basic science level than medicine in general, we'll say, in conventional medicine. And I was alluding before to that I've never been sick and I've never had conventional medicine never failed me. I embrace conventional medicine. If I have to have surgery or have a heart attack or something else, yeah, there's a lot. You don't just toss out traditional conventional medicine. They're tremendous practitioners, extremely intelligent, extremely dedicated, and I embrace both disciplines 100%. What we do in regenerative functional medicine and traditional medicine, they go beautifully. We don't forget traditional medicine. We integrate it still.
That's great. That's great. Mary, what would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's the difference with integrative. It's combining Eastern and Western medicine. It's very important that things are done right and dosed appropriately, and that's part of what we'll be discussing. And that's my next lecture. It's the pharmacology of the nutraceuticals, of the peptides such as NAD or GHK copper, and how they affect us in a cellular level. And then how, how even taking prescriptions like lower cholesterol lowering agents, a lot of people experience muscle weakness or antihypertensives. They have a lack in the heart of the antioxidant coenzyme Q10. Those are just some small examples of what and how we can combine, because there is a need, but there's also ways to, the key is the minimal dose amount for the effect, right? For the optimal effect. And that's essentially what we do in integrative medicine. It's personalized, right? Because 50 milligrams may be equivalent to 5 milligrams to another individual because their receptors are different. And then looking at the SNPs, looking at the genetics, looking at the lifestyle, looking at the toxicity loads, but not getting too into it, right? Because essentially it comes down to the fundamentals. And that's what we do. And what you're doing, it's not sales, it's educating. And that's what we love to do. I educate my patients, I write things down, and I say, go home and research this. And then let's come back and let's have another discussion. Because the last thing I want to do is just tell them what to do. Because they'll be compliant, they'll stay compliant for maybe a month, and then they'll fall off. And then But when you educate someone and they understand why they're on it, their compliance is increased significantly. So I would say, back to Joe's response, it's about education. It's about integration, integrating both traditional medicine with holistic approaches and functional medical approaches.
Well, I got to tell you, what an interesting conversation today. I know it gets really intriguing here with the two of you, and there's so much to really take in. There's a lot to take in here. I'm going to learn this. I'm not going to be like a health and wellness expert, but I'm going to know my stuff by, give me a couple podcasts and I'm going to be asking really some deep-seated questions here. But, I really love this stuff. This is really cool to me. And this is everything that we need to take charge in our life and in our career. I am one like you, Mary. I am not here to retire. I'm not doing it. I might be doing something different, but I'm not here to retire. That's for sure. And I'm sure not going to go ahead and throw in the towel. And I'm telling you guys, you don't have to. Just get educated. Now, here's the thing. You couldn't pick a better center, a better place to do that. And this is why, again, I am doing this. I mean, I really believe in this. When I went to the Boutique Wellness in Winston-Salem, met Mary, I'm thinking, okay, now what are they going to, come up with? And I'll tell you, I just know that she really knew her stuff and then some. So, and she does. So I invite you, find out for yourself, give it a shot, and learn something. Mary will be at the podium and she will be talking about, you saw the restaurant. It's going to be fun. Have a few cocktails, some wine, some good wine. And let's get into the nitty gritty when it comes to hair restoration and or regenerative aesthetics, anything of that nature, rejuvenation. I am telling you, you're going to be impressed. And Dr. Joe, if you could possibly make it, and we would love to have you as well. It'd be great. It'd be terrific. And guys, we probably won't have our podcast next Sunday. It is going to be Easter, which I can't believe it's already here, for crying out loud. So, but we'll hop on the following Sunday, and I'll be sharing this live a lot throughout the week. You can bet on that. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy Sunday, your restful Sunday, to be here and have this podcast, and hope we can do it. We'll certainly do it again, not next Sunday since it's Easter, but the following Sunday. Mary, will you be in town?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not sure where Dr. Joe is, but I'll let you figure that out.
Well,
Thank you again. I'm sorry?
I said I'd be honored to do this again. Thank you.
Oh, it would be fun. It would be very much fun. Like I told you, I'm going to be like a champ, like a pro. Okay. Well, thank you again, guys. And you have a good Sunday, restful Sunday.
Thank you. Wonderful. Appreciate it. Nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not a rock star.